What's up? Today we're gonna be going over some get rich quick content. I know you've seen it, the finance bros, the day traders, the alpha males. This kind of goes into alpha male territory. Today we're gonna be looking over a couple categories. So the first category is the Facebook memes. So those are like the cringe posts you see, the black background, or like the dude lifting weights with the motivational front on it, talking about how you gotta be trading like instantly. As soon as you wake up, you gotta be up at 4. You gotta be up before the market opens, and you gotta be on your grind. You gotta go to the gym 4 times. You gotta eat 5 pounds of cereal, 7 raw eggs. You gotta be in that grind set mindset. So the other categories, the other types of videos is gonna be why get rich, what's the purpose, rich versus poor.
Get your money up, not your funny up.
We're gonna figure out how to get rich. So like, what are some steps we can take? We're gonna talk about sell me this pen, because a lot of finance bros really like to recreate the sell me this pen concept, which if you've seen The Wolf of Wall Street, you'll already know what I'm talking about. Alright, so the first one we got, I don't want to be in the mix at all. I'm just trying to get rich as So yeah, word dog. That's what I'm talking about. This is the grind set right here. I don't know how I'm gonna get there. I'm just gonna be rich. It's just gonna happen because I got that mentality. Another one here we have, today I have no money, no power, no respect, but one day I will have it all. So let's dissect this one. So no money, no power, no respect, right? Those 3 things. But one day, stay_motivated, we'll have it all. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't want it to. Like, think about this for a second, right? No respect. He's very honest about this. He's like, you know what? I don't actually care about anyone. I could care less about a single person, about anything. No respect for laws, for ethics, for regulations. Like, this guy is unhinged, I'm assuming. I mean, no respect. I mean, look at that face. Look at what's being portrayed. That's terrifying. He's trying to rule the world. Like, I don't trust it, you know? If this guy did have it all the money, all the power, do we want that? I don't think I do. I really don't think so. I mean, so what's the purpose? Which brings us to our next category, which is why be rich? What's the reasoning? What can it help us with? So here we got this little graphic, right? By Instant Leaders. It says, become rich as so you can travel the world, buy real estate everywhere, spend time with family, help who are struggling, stop listening to your annoying boss, and eat the finest food, okay? So let's go through it. So first we have travel the world. I get that. That's pretty cool. Who doesn't want to like experience new things? It builds your character. You learn stuff. It's pretty cool. Now, you don't have to be rich though to travel the world. You know, like maybe travel the world for you is like, I want to go to all the amusement parks, or I want to go see some like big event that's like specifically more a summer thing. You could save yourself some money and go later. I mean, of course, I guess it's a little difficult with work, which I guess is why you want to be rich, so you don't have to work a job, and also to stop listening to your annoying boss. I can't stand that guy, for reals. Working hard or hardly working. So next is buy real estate everywhere, okay? So as soon as you're rich, you can buy real estate everywhere. And I'm taking this very literal, okay? It doesn't say apply for your license. It doesn't say do it, you know, the legal way. So I'm assuming as soon as you're rich, you legally are a real estate agent. You know, you can buy anything. Buy up all the homes in the poor communities if you're this guy, because you just want a good deal. You know, you have no respect for those families. You don't care, so why does it matter, I guess? So I guess do that if you're, no, don't actually do that. Please don't do that. Next is spend time with family. All right, this one, I agree with it, right? Like, this is like great. Yeah, like spend time with your family. You know, they're important. You know, we only have one life. We should really cherish our loved ones, you know? But it's implying, you know, it says become rich so you can. It's implying you can't spend time with your family. I mean, I guess I can only assume that the reason for this, that you couldn't spend time with your family before, is because you're working, right? But if you want to stay, okay, well, First of all, life is pretty boring without work, okay? But like, putting that aside, your family would still have work. So wouldn't you still have less time with them? Just do it. Just spend time with your family, dude. You don't have to be rich to do that. You don't have to be like, yeah, I just bought Amazon. And then your friends are like, oh, dude, that's awesome. Like, that's so crazy how far you come. I want to know why you did all of this. And you're like, yeah, so I can spend time with my family. I've been neglecting them for 15 years. I mean, It's insane. Just spend time with your family, please. Next is help who are struggling. Who are struggling, help who are struggling. I like this one more. Help people who are struggling. If you have that much money and you really can give and stuff, it's a great thing to do. It's really helpful, good deed, something that's gonna like really impact people's lives in a positive way. Again, unless you're this guy. But as soon as he's out of poverty, he's turning on all of you. He's going crazy. We need to contain him now. And then our last two, we kind of touched on, stop listening to your annoying boss, you know? Your annoying boss. I hate that guy. Buy your boss, maybe. Not your boss. Buy the company's real estate, maybe. All right, finally, eat the finest food. I think this one's the only one that genuinely is something that you can only do once you have like a lot of money. I mean, because you can eat healthy, like, you know, with less money. That's true. But of course, you know, fitness and health is important. So if you can, like, if that was me, you know, if I was like, oh, I'm stacking bread, you know, I'd be buying bread. I'd be buying good bread. I would be buying the most fire, most organic bread. I do like to eat organic when possible because, you know, it's good for your body, and there's just a lot of stuff in food these days, you know. I feel guilty when I down a bag of Cheetos and I realize how much Red 40 I consumed. So yeah, it would be nice to kind of have a healthy meal every day. Not an expensive one either, you know? Just have like a nice salad, some good protein.
What's that? Is that the cheese?
Yeah.
Looks good, huh?
So now that we've learned the benefits that come with being rich, we want to learn, so what's the difference? Why am I not rich right now? What makes me different from a rich person? And of course, as you guys know, I mean, according to these videos, of course, you can't be middle class. You're either rich or you're poor, okay? You're a little poor. You live in a potato sack to these people, okay? You're nothing apparently if you don't own a massive company. So let's look at what makes these two categories different. I've been having some issues with YouTube, okay? My first video, blocked in certain territories. The one I'm currently trying to upload, completely put in a month's work into this video. And it's just like, you know what, dude? No one can actually see it. I'm gonna play it really safe. So I'm gonna cut out the music. Let's get into this. Poor versus rich. What? Okay, so first of all, this is just poor, right? Or I guess is the versus rich part, like, are we just supposed to assume that's the part where she gets the necklace she wants and she's happy? Alright, so a couple things, right? A couple things. So the first one, what fell on her? Like this huge like green leafy tree, right? Looks like it just dropped a pistachio on her. I guess she had to be like flicked a piece of peanut or something so she can like be like, oh wait, you know what? Life's beautiful. Well, I guess not life's beautiful because that's what I thought she was gonna say. She's like, whoa, look at these beautiful flowers. And then she says, like, I can't buy diamonds, but being alive is way more expensive. I don't think she learned the correct lesson. I'm pretty sure what they were going for was, hey, life's beautiful. You don't need a lot of materialistic things. You know, enjoy life. But I think she still is like, you know what, dude? I may not be rich, but I'm balling. Cause like, if I can afford this life stuff, I'm set. I think this video was her mentally switching from poor to rich. And I think she's like, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna flex this. I'm gonna flex how much my bills are because they're really expensive. Our next one here, not a video, but a helpful infographic. So this one's more direct comparison. So we got poor on the left, right? You know, this swagged out dude. And then we got rich. This business looking dude, this casual guy, you know, polo shirt casual. Let's see what the difference is, okay? I guess I'm not seeing how much his pants cost because the picture doesn't extend that far. So let's start with poor. So poor person has hats. $270. Poor person has bad purchase decisions. $270. Dude, you could go to Ross and get a hat for like, I don't know, like 10, 7? I don't remember. I have gotten a hat from Ross though. And rich person wears no hat. Poor person, hat. Rich person, no hat. They don't really explain why, you know? I guess he just doesn't feel like spending money on that. Poor person, glasses that are $650. So we got some shades, you know, block your eyes from the sun. And then rich person, we have glasses. So like he can't see, you know? I guess because he's so blinded by this cash. So he's got some prescription glasses. That's like a price you would get for prescription glasses. Something over 100, about 100. Next we have headphones. So poor person has expensive headphones. Rich person does not have headphones. I think I'm starting to get this. Guys, I think I might be getting my money up this video. Next is shirt, okay? Next is like your attire. So poor person has a $2,500 shirt, a white $2,500 shirt. Rich person has a $34 polo. All right, I'm gonna be real with you, dude. I'm very disappointed by rich person here. He could have gotten that polo for like 10 bucks. Like, let's be real, dude. Come on, like you could have gone to Goodwill. You could have gone to Ross. I mean, even if you go to Kohl's and you get like a Nike shirt, it's like what, 25? It's not 34. 34 is kind of insane. So I think rich person, I think he has some poor tendencies because I totally could have gotten that shirt for like 10 bucks at Ross. But you know, maybe it just has rich person materials or something. I don't know, man. Next, let's look at the jacket. This absolute traffic cone of a jacket. It is $650. And rich person doesn't have a jacket. Rich person just goes out in the cold like this. Rich person is just built different. When you have that much money, the amount of cash lining your pockets, I guess, just like serves as insulation, you know? You don't worry about the cold when you're rich. Next, we have the watch. So poor person, $980 on a watch. Rich person, no watch. No watch for me because I'm assuming rich person has a phone or something, you know? I mean, I guess oh yeah, never mind. Poor person has a $6,000 phone and rich person doesn't need to communicate, you know? Rich person may be owning a bunch of companies and has deadlines, but you know what? It's all up here. When you're rich, you can telepathically speak to your employees. You don't worry about phones. You don't mess with that stuff. That's poor person stuff. Poor person stuff is having a $6,000 phone. Next, we have his pants. I'm gonna leave the shoes out because I can't see rich person's shoes. But I'm assuming they're probably gonna say something like $100, you know? Like they did with the shirt. You can get shoes for cheaper than 100, okay? Just so you know. Poor person, his pants are $400. Rich person, negative money. I can't see the rest of this picture. So I'm gonna assume that's just rich person stole these. Rich person said, you know what, dude, I really fumbled with the shirt. I'm gonna steal some pants. So he stole some pants. And of course, let's just lightly touch on the shoes. 800 is kind of crazy, but I used to be into shoes and yeah, honestly, that's about right. So let's start from the top. Let's conclude what we can about rich people. So rich people don't have a hat or sunglasses, meaning rich people like getting sunburned. They don't like protecting their skin, okay? Rich people also hate music because I think it just gets in the way of the grind set. 3, rich people don't know how to shop for shirts because for some reason they're spending 34 on a polo, which is unnecessary. 4, I think rich people have no sense of time. Rich people don't have a schedule. They don't have any meetings to attend. They don't have any form of communication. And they also probably steal pants. So I guess that's number 5. And the shoes, probably don't even wear shoes, you know? I mean, I can't tell. This picture didn't include his shoes, so how am I supposed to know? And then the comments on this are kind of confusing. Bill Gates. Fire, dude. Bill Gates. Money. Absolute finance, bro, I'm assuming. The next one is like a public PSA. Hey, before showing this, think for yourself. Whether rich people can afford expensive things or are they just poor? And I mean, I guess that is what, like, he's just summarizing what this post was going for. It was saying rich people, they try to save their money. They're more frugal. Poor people, they like debt. But I mean, it's kind of hard for me to like feel like the rich person side is better, which is, I know what they're going for. But like, I do care about my skin. I like music. I think I'll keep the hat and glasses and the headphones. But maybe that's what's keeping me poor, you know? Or maybe it's the fact the shirts I buy, you know, maybe they're too cheap. Maybe I should be spending 34. Maybe there's some like money powers in this fabric. So I guess we'll never know. And next we have another poor versus rich. So let's see what the difference is, because apparently we have different hands. So poor people have this hand and rich people have this hand. They have the money line. I do not have the money line, I guess. But I would assume the money line is the line you get from holding all those bricks of cash, holding a couple bands all day. You know, you ever heard of a paper cut? Yeah, so rich people, they carry around money like this, like they hold like bricks, right? So they walk around like this. Sometimes they get a little cut. And you know, that's where the money line comes from. That means you're rich. If your hand is like, please don't grab another $100, please, then like you're probably rich. So now that we know that rich people, like getting sunburned, are blinded by all that cash, spend $34 on a shirt, maybe steal pants, and also have creases in their hand due to all the money they be holding, I think I'd say I know how to be rich now. But how do we get there? How do I get from hating being sunburned to loving it? How do I get from having hands that aren't scarred to holding so much money that I give myself paper cuts all the time when I walk? Why rich people are rich? How do they actually get there? How do they make all this money? Let's check it out.
What's the most reliable way to become a millionaire? Well, 3% of millionaires made their money through real estate.
Okay, so they're saying 3% made their money through real estate. So, in other words, taking out massive loans and buying real estate, or already having a good amount of money and not being poor and getting houses. You know, it's like Monopoly, right? You just buy the house and then get your money up, not your funny up. No issues. The other 3% get their money from
Other ways such as technology, healthcare, law, and politics.
I can't talk about politics. I don't know much about that. I do know though, law requires you to spend a lot of money on school. So that's not great. I do know that technology, if you're developing apps or you're doing really crazy things, you do have to have some pretty good hardware. So that's also a little tough. And then we also have health, which is also like a lot of money of school. Okay, so I mean, I guess spend money to make money.
5% through entertainment, sports, and media.
All right, that one you could do pretty well in terms of it's accessible, it is saturated, and you do definitely need to like work really hard at it.
10% via finance and investment.
Oh yeah, 10% is finance and investment, you know, because Trevor Wallace is a finance bro. Actually, I don't know. I saw his stuff like years ago, like his skits. I'm assuming he still does that. Cause like I really doubt. I mean, cause it's talking about how they made their money. I know Trevor Wallace was not making crazy financial moves to get to where he is. I know a lot of that was media. So, false.
14% through working executive positions like directors, board members, and CEOs of the important people.
All right, 14% also involves school because, you know, executive stuff like big CEO stuff, or maybe not school, but it involves a lot of money. It involves, you know, taking out loans, either having a lot of money. And then this next one is just straight up like you inherited the money, which like good on you if that works out, you know, that's pretty cool.
An unsurprisingly high 24% made their millions from inheritance.
So all of these I mentioned, these have some hurdles because as these finance bros think, there's no middle ground, okay? You're either poor or you are spending $34 on a shirt and stealing pants. So 41%, so the biggest chunk of this graph is entrepreneurs, you know?
The most surefire way to earn the big bucks is to start your own business and become an entrepreneur, as 41% of millionaires are entrepreneurs.
What? Let's look at the definition for entrepreneur real quick. Entrepreneur is an individual who creates and runs their own business, taking on the risks and reaping the rewards, right? So every other part of this graph except for the people who inherited it. Pretty much, right? Because each category in this video is the result of being an entrepreneur. It's a result of getting that bag and taking the risk, you know? So from this video, what have we learned? We have learned either inherit the money or get the money. Be an entrepreneur. Next, let's look at the sell me this pen talk. That last one was a little more like either be rich or get rich. So what if I want to know how, you know, how does this work? A lot of what goes into making money like that is sales. You know, you're thinking about real estate. You got to know how to sell a house. You got to know how to talk to people. You know, how do you not only sell them the house, but sell them the idea, the lifestyle, the want to get the house? So that's what we're going to be checking out here. And we're going to see how these rich people, these absolute entrepreneurs are making all this money. I'm not going to play footage because, again, YouTube's been mad or something. I don't know. So I'm just going to explain it. So in The Wolf of Wall Street, Leonardo DiCaprio's character is pretty much like giving this talk to these people. And he's like, hey, man, sell me this pen. And, you know, the dude's like, hey, dude, like, it's a great pen. It has ink. It's good for signing. It's comfortable. You know, he's giving you like, he's describing the pen, right? But what he really wanted as an answer was he wanted the guy to ask him about why he wants a pen, you know? So the whole idea is to like, you know, give a better answer and really understand the customer. And in the other part of the movie, they explain that, oh, the answer to this is just write on that paper. And then when they go, with what? You go, Here you go. And then you sold him the pen, right? But let's see what these absolute baller gurus think. So this is how I taught Leonardo DiCaprio to sell. All right, let's check it out.
So the key is changing up tonalities. Like, for example, I say, John, you give me one shot. It's like certain, and believe you're going to be very, very impressed.
So beg, in other words. So if you're like, sell me this pen, and I'm holding the pen, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know what, man? Please buy this pen, please. Please, you won't regret it. You really won't regret it. Please, dude, please. No, dog, stop. What are you talking about? You need this. Please, you're not gonna regret it. You're not gonna regret it.
The scene in the movie where Leo does his first pitch.
Something just came across my desk, John.
And when people see it, like, wow, it sounds so great. Well, he sounds great for a reason. I taught him how to sound that way. He's using straight line tonalities. Tonality of scarcity, mystery and intrigue, certainty, sincerity. There's like 10 tonalities at all. Certainty, doesn't matter. It's certainty, then sincerity. Reason for scarcity, or something just came from mystery and intrigue. You know?
All right, I get what he's going for. I get it. He's saying be very like, hey, I have this opportunity for you. You have to get it now or else it's gonna be gone. Do the whole scarcity thing. But like, let's be real. Don't you hate it when you go to a website and they're like 30% off for the next 4 hours? You came just in time, bro. And then you refresh the page and the timer starts all over again. You know how that's kind of scummy, how that's fake? And for a fact the product, like it could be like a pen, right? Since we're on the topic of pens, it could be a pen. It'll be like premium business fountain pen. It'll say like $500 and you're like, whoa. And then it's like, but because you got here 30 minutes before our massive end of year sale, actually just for you, it'll be 100. And so it's really messed up, honestly. It's very manipulative. At a certain point, you stop falling for this. But it gives you this sense of like, this is my opportunity, It's worth 500, which it was never to begin with, let's be real. But they attach that price so you think it's very valuable and that you're getting it at a very low price, just so you feel good about it. But again, it's really messed up. And that's what he's preaching here. He's pretty much like, hey, if you want to sell stuff, you have to kind of lie to them. Because like how he mentioned too with the just came across my desk, it did not come across his desk just now. It's not like the sale just happened. It's not like you got there just in time. It was fabricated. It's completely false and it's very manipulative. And I don't know if I want to be rich if this is how it's done. Like, I agree you can get rich with this, but it's like saying like, hey dude, you could make $1 million in the next 24 hours. You want to make a logo, you want to register an LLC, and then like 5 minutes in, they're like, okay, now rob the nearest bank. Rob it now. And it's like, come on, dude, like, of course. Like that, like, no duh, that makes sense. You would make $1 million in that 24 hours, guaranteed, Well, not guaranteed. Hopefully you get caught if you're doing stuff like that. All right, next one. This looks like a father and son, maybe? I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe they just look alike. But he's gonna sell him a pen.
So Jeremy, sell me this pen.
Sell you this pen? Well, I don't think I'm that cool enough to sell you this pen.
What? So he's like, first of all, like, as if this wasn't staged, right? As if there's not a camera in between them filming this video. He's just like, what? Sell you this pen? Dude, that's a stupid question. Why would you ask me that? You know what? I don't think I'm that qualified. I don't think I'm smart enough to sell you this pen. Which, I mean, I guess.
Well, what I guess I would need to understand, what type of pen do you use now?
This dude's absolutely clueless. He's like, come on, dude, with the camera? Like, this is the first time I'm hearing of this. He's like, I guess, why do you even need it? It's like he's genuinely confused. Like, he's like, why did you just ask me to sell you this pen? It's your pen. And he's like genuinely like, I guess I'll go with the bit. And he just doesn't know what to say. It's his first time figuring this out.
I use ones from, the shops and...
Like the plastic ones?
Yeah, the plastic ones.
All right, I see what he's doing. He's playing into this like... So he's like, what? You buy the little plastic ones? You buy those? You buy those like literal like those trash pens? That's what you buy? To write on your important paper? You buy this? I don't know, man. He's like straight up judging him.
Oh, like, okay, but what about like, do you have like your clients like, authorizing agreements? Are they signing stuff with you?
Yeah, 100%.
He's like, what? No, I didn't actually know you could do that. I thought the minimum was $300 because legal documents can only be signed with serious pens. Not these. Not these little doohickeys, these little sketch utensils. I didn't even know that. I'm surprised you even have clients who are signing with such lame pens.
Do you want them to view you at like a higher status? He's got a really, really nice pen. He must be successful. He must know what he's doing. He must be able to get client results. Or do you want them to view you as like, that pen seems a little bit cheap?
Yeah, because when I sign legal documents, I always look at the dude's pen and I'm like, hey, you know what? This? Really, dude? And then I realize that like, this house is trash. And then I just don't buy it. There's no way someone could sell me a house and have me sign everything in a cheap pen. You know what I mean? Like, it's gotta be some crazy stuff. Cause like when I go to the coffee shop and someone's sitting there on their laptop and they're writing stuff down and they have a nice pen, I'm like, wow, I'm dining with royalty right now. He must have like 7 cars and 5 houses, because that was a really nice pen.
I want them to view you as like, that pen seems a little bit cheap.
Probably is the expert.
So what do you feel like you should do?
I should buy the pen.
Well, there you go.
That's actually crazy. He's like, well, I guess you're right. I guess I do want to seem like I'm baller like that. And I will pay for this overpriced pen because you're telling me it'll make me seem good. And then the guy's just like, well, there you go. As if he didn't absolutely struggle to answer that question the whole video. Like, he was so unprepared. It was actually crazy. Like, he had no idea what he was gonna say. I mean, wouldn't a better video be like, stop trying to sell pens and just be the dude who makes the fancy pen? Because obviously these like alpha male like business guru dudes are like buying them. So like, just make overpriced pens. Like, I think that's the real gold to take out of this.
Can you please sell me this pen?
No one's ever asked me that before. It's the first time.
The awkward. He likes to really talk about this. This is like his thing. I don't know how many videos he's made about this, but to say, no one's actually asked me that before is like actually crazy. I mean, I guess no one has because he's just been talking about it like voluntarily. He was like, finally, someone cares. Finally, I can express this knowledge I've been hiding for so long.
So let me tell you what that whole exercise really stands for, right? So the whole sell me this pen narrative is really, it's a test that you give to a salesman to see if they really understand what selling's all about. If you ask someone who's not a professional salesman, who doesn't have the right instincts, they'll start actually trying to sell you a pen. This pen is great. This pen writes upside down. It's the best value for its money. This pen will last forever. Buy this pen. Here's the thing.
And that's crazy too, because like when they do these exercises, like they don't even say it has to be an expensive pen. Yeah, you should buy this because, this and this, and it's a high value pen and stuff, or whatever the term is. It doesn't make sense, because if you were Walmart, right? I go into Walmart, I'm looking for a pen. I'm looking for a couple pens, actually. I'm kind of baller like that. And I go up to the stand that has pens, and I see this one along with like 5 others at the pack, and it says $1. Yes, I'm buying that. That's it. If you just make a cheap pen, isn't that like pretty easy to sell? You're giving yourself more work by making it this like expensive pen, because who's buying that?
Only one rational thing you could do when someone says, sell me this pen, and that is to start asking them questions. So tell me, how long have you been in the market for a pen?
I like how it ends on that too. I'm gonna be real, that's the stupidest question you could ask me. If I was trying to look for a pen and for some reason, hypothetical situation, there's a dude standing in the arts and crafts aisle of Walmart. He comes up to me and he's like, hey dude, like, what are you looking for? And I'm like, I'm good, man, thank you. I'm just looking for some stuff, looking for a pen. And then he goes, wait, a pen? And he comes at me with, well, how long have you been in the market for a pen? Like, I don't know, dude. I just decided I needed a pen. I tried to write something down, realized I had no ink, and then I went to Walmart. Like, what do you mean, how long have I been in the market for a pen? How long is anyone in the market for a pen? So last one, but just because it says part 3. I don't know if I need to have seen part 1 and 2, but hopefully not.
Who am I here with? Tristan.
All right, Tristan, sell me this pen.
So, what I want to ask you first is, who do you love the most in the world?
I'd say my mom.
Why do you love your mom so much?
Because she's provided for me my whole life and got me where I am today.
So, I have some unfortunate news for you. Your mom's got an hour left to live, and I need you to write her a paragraph of what you love about her the most.
Mom has an hour left to live? Why?
She's dying.
What?
What? This guy's like, you know what? I have to tell you something. Dude, honestly, never let this guy ask you to sell him a pen. Like, seriously, like for your own safety, for your family's health, because he will do something apparently. Because I don't think his mom was ill before this.
She's dying.
Of what?
Cancer.
Oh, shit.
He gave his mom cancer?
It's a cancer, Ray! Harley Quinn, you gave me cancer?
Go ahead and write her a paragraph.
I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to buy it if she's gonna die. I guess I'm gonna need it. How much is it?
$1,000.
Sorry, Mom.
Damn.
So this guy decides not to buy the pen because it's $1,000. But he's just like, well, I guess I'll never tell her how much I love her because I can't put it in writing. I guess she's dying, you know? And it's like, dude, she can hear you. You can just tell her. You don't need a pen. You really don't need a pen. You can just tell her. She has cancer. Go talk to your mom. All of this, some of it takes a long time, some of it's really quick and easy if you just rob a bank or are very manipulative towards people. And I will end the video on this note. And thank you. I'll see you guys next time. Please subscribe and, have a great day. Deuces.